Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Tuesday the 14th of October. This video is for educational only. There is no advice or recommendation whatsoever. Also, I have to apologize about my voice. I have a bit of a cold, so I might call for sneeze during this recording. Please forgive me for that. Let's start with something we haven't talked about that much, but there was a lot of talk on X, Twitter, Reddit, and other places on strategic products like, or considered strategic products like uranium, rare earth material, battery, EVs, and so on. And that caused them to jump massively, especially yesterday, but they've been in the bull market for quite some time. We have here the URA, the Global X Uranium ETF, that was up 8%, and some of the companies in this ETF or index were up even more. I'm not going to recommend anyone because this is not a recommendation or advice. It's just saying that it spiked several times, and it also spiked like a shooting star. So the next few days could be decisive. I mean, there is no divergence on the RSI on daily and weekly, indicating we could see higher levels. I'm not saying we will, but I will also have to say that if it moves back below 51 area, 51.30, I would actually say here around 50 spot 88. We could see a larger correction. So today could be crucial. If we get a negative candle, then we have a top and reversal possibly in place. If I also add a horizontal line here, we can see that it actually closed above the previous peak there on the RSI. So there's no divergence, indicating likely higher levels. Also looking at rare earth materials, they had a massive move yesterday. After a weak market Friday, also here there is a little bit divergence here, but and also here on the weekly. But we could, I mean, there's a frenzy going on now. So also what I will be looking at, you don't want to see this being taken out if you're long the rare earth materials, and the same more or less with lithium and battery. If it will come out from its hiding here, then we will also see I would put in a horizontal line there, say that's the stop if I was in this market there. Also, semiconductors had a very good day yesterday. Here is the ETF. It bounced, but it bounced about almost 5%. But it was also on back of a massive sell-off Friday. So let's see if it takes out the lows there from Friday. Well, then we have a completely different situation. But if it takes out the peak here from last week up here, then we are in a continued bull trend. And that is more or less also the name of the game on the Nasdaq 100. As we can see here, it did form this bearish engulfing pattern here last week. So we do have a top and reversal pattern in place, a little bit unusual, but still. And the sell-off there Friday, that was really what caused it. Support there 24,186. That is key, at least short term. If Nasdaq 100 closes below that, well, then we have a confirmed correction. And there has been some divergence for some time. However, if it takes out the peak from last week, well, then a continued bullish trend. Pre-market, there seems to be a little bit of a profit taking there on the CFD/future. So again, keep an eye on the lows there from Friday. If it takes out that, well, then we could see further downside. Moving on to the S&P 500, that also bounced from the support here. We had a minor support there at 6,550 and had a good day yesterday. Dow Jones also bounced, but it actually took out its support there, but bounced from the 55 moving average. So it actually did establish a bearish trend. So let's see what that can what that can spell into. Here pre-market on S&P 500, let's just have a quick look at that. We can see it setting back a little bit, so there could be some danger the next few days. What will happen if it takes out this 6,498, the lows there from on the CFD there. Moving on to the Asian market that has also been under pressure this morning. Hang Seng tried to get back above the resistance there at 26,000, couldn't get it, and then the sellers just took control. So that could spell trouble, and also RSI actually closed below 40 threshold, so there could be further downside potential for the Hang Seng, maybe down in the area around these levels here. What we're talking about 25,000, this area where we had the 100 moving average coming up. We could see that the next few days. Hang Seng really needs to close back above 26,000. Nikkei also a little bit lower, but not as bad as the Hang Seng. But if it takes out the lows there from Friday, well, then we're looking at the area around 43,930. That's key support here, just around 44,000 area. That would be key the next few days. In Europe, also in Europe, we had very good days, and let's just zoom in a little bit. We had a good day yesterday, after also following the Friday. If it takes out the lows from from Friday, sorry, here at 5,529, then I wouldn't wait much longer to see it taking out this minor support. It's not a strong support before we could see it pushing lower towards 5450, 5400. Pre-market, we are already down around %, so maybe there is first of all some profit taking, but also there's some nervousness in the market still, so expect a lot of volatility, and now we are slowly entering earnings season. If DAX closes below 24,113, it's closed this gap here, and that could be crucial, and maybe it will do that already today. Let's have a look at it here pre-market. It is under pressure, so it could push down here. 24,000 seems to be key, and look at this Friday low, very close to being taken out, and then we have this top and reversal pattern. But again, you have to consider this, that it is actually the DAX, the cash index, that's the key one, but it's also forming this top and reversal like pattern. However, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. There's some positives new. The RSI is showing positive sentiment, no divergence, so there's a little bit conflicting messages here from the charts. Moving on to the FX market and euro dollar, I have zoomed in a little bit more. We are actually in a bearish trend, lower low, lower high. Like I started there a little bit lower, then lower high there, lower low, lower high, and lower low. Maybe we'll get a little bit of bounce. It didn't get too much, but we are below the cloud. We are below the 55 and the 100 moving average. We are negative sentiment. So it seems like we could see euro dollar pushing down to around these levels here, where we're talking about around 114 here in the coming days and weeks. It really needs to get back above the cloud and above the 55 moving average, possibly to at least go into neutral. Euro sterling bouncing from once again testing the lower rising trend line there, bouncing from the cloud, and seems to be bouncing further. So what I will do, also see, okay, there could be some pausing on the way up. So where are we? We are currently at 61.8 retracement there at 87.14. It is up here. That is key resistance, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Positive sentiment on the RSI indicating higher levels on euro sterling, and on the weekly we are in a bullish trend. If it takes out the peak there from this summer, then there is potential much higher for euro sterling, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that being unfolding. However, there is divergence on the weekly, so let's see, but and slightly on daily. But if RSI closes back above 60 threshold on the daily, then I think that will push it higher. Cable or sterling dollar selling off again here. We are already in a bearish trend, lower low, lower high, and lower low, and there is potential down to around 132, possibly even lower to the spike down here at 131.40. But then we have the 200 moving average coming up, giving a bit of support. So I could imagine that it will dip lower and then bounce from there. But we are in a bearish trend on sterling dollar. Dollar yen. Still in a little bit of a limbo after this volatile Friday there. It needs to take out the peak or the lows from Friday. I think that will tell us the direction. Weekly, well, yes, we are in a bullish trend, confirmed by positive sentiment on the RSI and also actually on daily. So it should be to the upside, but there's no certainties in this. So if it takes out the lows here at 151, well, then I could see down to 150, possibly lower. Euro yen, here we are. It's already taking out the Friday's low, so I think we'll see it pushing lower to at least 175, possibly down to the 61.8 at 174.40 area. We could see that in a correction, and then I think we'll see a bounce. 55 moving average slowly coming up there, so it's not unlikely it will slide all the way back to the 786 restriction, but I'm not quite sure. I think we will pause around also where we started the market there on the 6th of October. So this level there could be the level to look at for a possible reversal. Also here we have Aussie yen. I think the lows from Friday will be challenged or tested, and we could see it setting back even more down to these lows here if it takes it out. And we can see here on the weekly, massive shooting star there. So really some volatile. If it takes out the peak from today, but I don't think it will. But if it does, well, then uptrend has resumed. Sterling yen. Sterling yen also had taken out the Friday lows there, and I think we could see it down to around 200 spot 40, 45 area at a 61.8 retracement, and possibly test the lows there from, and this gap area here from the 6th of October. So that could be key here today, the next few days. Again, if it takes out the peak from today, well, then we have a bullish situation. But for now, it seems like a larger correction is kicking in there. Aussie dollar testing minor support here at 64.60 and currently trading below it. I think we will see it lower to around 64.15. These lows here back from August, and the 200 moving average coming up there. We are already in a bearish trend, as you can see, and it's further confirmed. I think we'll see it down there. The dollar Canada pushing higher, as we can see, and I think we will see it at least up to the lower part of the cloud on the weekly over here at 141. There is room for it, but even we could see even higher levels if weekly RSI closes above 60 threshold, flirting with it at the moment. Positive sentiment on the daily, no divergence, indicating likely higher levels on the dollar Canada pair. We can see here that 55 coming up, crossed over the 100, but it was declining, so it's not a gold cross, but we are above the 200. That is declining, so it's dragging on a little bit, so we could see some corrections, but it needs to take out these lows here from, and let's just add a horizontal line to it, these lows here around 139.30 to demolish this bullish scenario. Sterling Canada, it is basically still this range, and it's a large range, a wide range here between 185 and 188.5 that needs to be broken. But with this volatile pair here, that's how it is at sometimes. But we are in a positive sentiment. There's slightly divergence, but as you can see, all moving averages are rising. Excuse me. So I think we will see it crawling higher on the medium term. Euro-Swiss, if it takes out a 92.65, then I think we are in for a ride down to around these lows over here, just around 92 area. we are already sliding slowly lower here. So I think we'll see that negative sentiment on the RSI is indicating that. Dollar Swiss, and I think we need to just zoom in a little bit more so we can easily see it. So basically what we are seeing here, yes, RSI closed above 60 threshold, but very just slightly. So it could be a little bit of a false break. But we are in a bullish trend, high, 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 low, high, high. So what we'll do, if it takes out the peak there, well, then we are looking at levels, and then we are looking at levels around 81.50, possibly also the spike up there at 81.70 in this region there. And I think we will see that because we are currently trading above the cloud. We are actually in a positive sentiment. We do have a bullish trend. However, if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then the next key one is these lows here that could be tested, and especially here we are. That would be key levels towards the 79 and a quarter here. That would be key, especially also first one could if it slides back below this falling trend line there. But for now, still a bullish trend. But we have this bear engulfing there, which is a little bit unusual. But we do have it on the 10th. So a little bit unsure, to be honest, which way it should go. But if it takes out the peak there at 80.75, well, then bullish trend is back in motion. The dollar index is in a bullish trend, testing the 786 retracement at 99.15 of this downtrend here. If it takes out the peak there from the 9th at 99.31, then I think we'll see it testing these peaks here at just around 100. Could shoot higher actually towards 100, 160. So a key thing to keep an eye on. And I will remove this one. We are actually in a bullish trend here, and we could actually draw a trend line here also that maybe could give us a little bit of a guideline of high, 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 low, high, high. A little bit of a setback. I think we could see it pushing higher. Positive sentiment on the RSI indicating just that. Then let's move on to the metals market and gold that shot higher to almost 4,180. And let's have a look at our extension. It hit it smack bang on and then a little bit more. As we can see, 200% extension of this triangle-like pattern here. And maybe short term, that was it. But I'm not calling a bearish trend anytime soon at all. We have some support here, 3,944. If it takes out that, then we could be in for a correction. Let's see what will happen today. Will we have a doji there? Will we have a shooting star? Next few days could be decisive. However, there is a little bit, let's see here, if we take this trackball, you can see that was the peak of RSI, but market moved higher. So we actually do have a little bit of divergence there. We don't have any divergence as it stands now on the weekly. So still potential higher, but very stretched at the moment, to say the least. So be careful if you are taking new long positions. The silver also shot higher this morning, but is sliding back. Here we do not have any divergence on this daily RSI and not on the weekly. But look at this, it's a massive, 86.73, and it can only go to 100. I've never seen it go that far, but we are very close to 90. Maybe overnight we have been up to 90 and then it slided back. So really extreme overboard there. But there's nothing that tells us at the moment that we will see a downtrend. But it is very stretched, so be careful out there. Platinum needs to take out the peak there at 1689 for further upside. There's slightly divergence on the RSI, as we can see. We can see the peaks here, they are declining. Might move high, so a little bit stressed there also, but we are on a bullish trend as long as we stay above 15.25. Copper really struggling with the and let's zoom in with the 515 area. You can see this the upper part of the cloud and the 50% of this sell-off there. So that's where it's really struggling. It needs to really push higher. It did spike higher, but never closed above 4 to 5 days straight. We could see it sliding back. If it takes out the lows there from the 10th of October, well, then it could slide back to 468, possibly also around 453. Moving on to the energy market and WTI crude oil, bearish trend, no divergence on the negative sentiment on the other side. We could see WTI down to the levels down here around the 55 area, where we have some more strong support. There's really nothing until around that, but as you can see, they are very close to each other, those two spikes down there. So there is something down there around $55. Brent crude oil, same picture, really could push down to the lows there from earlier this year. Here we are around 58.40, and especially if it takes out the lows from Friday there, then we could see that sell off. On the nat gas market here in Europe, also lower. I think it will take out this low here, especially if RSI pushes back below 40 threshold. We are already in negative sentiment. We are below all moving averages. We are below the cloud. So, and we are already in negative sentiment. So I think we'll see nat gas is sliding lower. So let's hope for lower gas prices or heating prices here in Europe also. US consumers can't be that dissatisfied. Testing the 55 moving average there, yes, hovering around this 61.8 retracement here, just above $3. I think today could be decisive. Will it bounce or will it take it out and slide back below the cloud? So that would be key. The interest rates market and treasury yields. We have the US 10-year treasury yields sliding lower, challenging or testing these lows here. I think we'll see that possibly here later today. And then we could actually see it down to possibly 384 area. These lows here back from earlier this year in April. We are in a bearish trend on weekly, also lower highs, and possibly new lower low here, pushing that direction at the moment. Moving on to the European yields, we have the, as it there we are, the EU 10-year testing and currently below the support there at 260. Next one is here around 254, 255, where we have some stronger support. Yeah, we do have a little bit here, but I wouldn't take that. I think this is more key, and I think we'll see it. It could slightly, there's some massive drop here. Maybe a little bit of bounce, but it seems that's where it's headed. Also, the UK 10, 459, key support, could drop all the way down to the lower rising trend line here, possibly even down to this area here, excuse me, around 450, 452. Even the Japanese yields has dropped here overnight, still in a bullish trend, but that could be challenged 162 and the lower rising trend line. If we get a close below both, well, then we have possibly a bearish trend. So let's see about that. Finally, moving on to cryptos. Bitcoin setting back, apparently following the stock market quite a bit here. It seems like it's the same name of the game at the moment. But key support here, 107,000, or just a little bit, but 107,000, that is key. Ethereum also setting back after being rejected, 61.8 retracement there. Already in a bearish trend, lower low, slightly lower low, a lower high there, and then a sell off. So we are actually in a bearish trend. So that will be key. What will happen here in the next few days? Can it take out to the upside, or will it slide back? All right, that's all for today. Brace yourself and be careful out there with your stops, and be careful not not be afraid to missing out sometimes. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day.